For you guys watching this video, the next few words that are going to come out my mouth are extremely scary. So, viewer discretion is advised with this one. So, you guys ever filled out a job app? Oh my gosh, dude, I can't even say it. A job application. Oh my. A JOB application. And then you hit submit, and then you sit there for a second, and you're like, dude, did anyone even see this? Like, did it get read by... Oh, my controller died. Oh, this is the classic. Oh my gosh. Anyway, like, did it just get sucked into a black hole or something, dude? Will I never see this application again? Will I ever get a call by this person again? You know the answer to that. Because, look, here's the thing. Nobody wants to say it out loud, but applying for a job in 2026 isn't even a job search anymore, bro. This is like a humiliation ritual at this point. So today I'm going to be walking you guys through why it's literally a ritual, and you're going to understand why so many of us are checking out of just jobs in general and all that sort of stuff. If you're Gen Z and, you know, you're sick and tired of all of this. So, look, it starts the same way every single time. You find a posting, it always says entry level. And yes, I can't wait for the boomers in the comments to be like, oh, entry level doesn't mean that you should get paid a decent salary. Anyway, for an entry level role, it requires 3 years of experience and all sorts of other crap. For entry level. Now, I want you to imagine you're fresh out of college and you have all the qualifications and then you needed all those years in experience for an entry-level job. And that's the part that gets me, because entry-level used to actually mean something. It meant we're going to train you to show up with a brain, and as long as it functions, we're going to make a employee out of it, and we're going to make it work. You know? That's how it goes. So nobody questioned it. And what did you do? You applied anyway because you knew at least somebody was going to see it. And you spent, you know, a little bit of time actually tailoring your cover letter, your resume, and all that sort of stuff. And you actually took time into it. Now it's just like you do all of that and nothing happens. Not a, you know, not even a confirmation email or anything like that. It just disappears into some sort of void. You know, I have a job right now, but recently I was applying to jobs like a couple months back, and I had a similar experience. And look, to tell you guys the truth, there's a robot that just reads it before the actual person who's supposed to hire you does. And that's exactly why it disappears like that. Your resume isn't even getting in front of a person, to be honest. It's literally just a system that's scanning for keywords, and by the end of it, you're just playing like a like a bingo with your resume. So the actual job hunt now isn't even about whether you can even do the job. It's about if the software or the algorithm, whatever they're using, will actually see you in the first place. So there's people out here studying. There's people out here like, oh yeah, trying to prove that they're capable and everything. But bro, the system won't even give you a chance. And then the same companies that are running these will turn around and just be like, oh, we just can't find good candidates. Really? Interesting. So we have all these people in so many jobs, and everybody's looking for one, but you can't find good candidates. But, okay, let's say that you get past the bot. Let's say let me say this very carefully. A human looks at it. Oh my gosh. If a human looks at it now, they'll ask you to complete a whole project before that you even give an interview. Write a sample marketing plan, build a Mank campaign, design 3 social posts for a brand, and there's no guarantee that you're going to get called back. Record a 15-minute Loom video explaining why you're a good candidate for this. Bro, and then they're not even going to call you back after all that. So you literally just gave them something for free, and they're just going to take advantage of it. And that's not an assessment. That's literally just unpaid labor. That's literally what it is. And look, I understand that these companies are trying to find the right candidates. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're a business owner, you want to make sure you're going to have trusted, reliable people. But you're not even giving people the opportunity, a fair opportunity, that is. And if a company needs to see free work out of you before they even talk to you, it tells you pretty much a lot of what you need to know about said company and how they're actually going to treat you once you are getting paid. So, and then after that sort of, gauntlet of everything, now it's interview time, the best time. So you're going to have a nice little screening call with maybe HR, the hiring manager. You get the idea. And they're going to tell you a whole bunch of stuff. And it's usually going to be people who have literally nothing to do with the role. Like, you don't even actively see them in the workplace ever. And then you're going to get scheduled with even more interviews. So you're going to have interview after interview for a job that pays maybe $19 an hour if you're lucky. And every single time, you're explaining your whole work history again from scratch, all over again. And there's a saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing multiple times over and over and over. That's essentially what this is. So, every single time, you have to act like a brand new person, pretty much. Meanwhile, you probably took time off of your other job, or you skipped a class, or burned half the day to drive to an office for a 15-minute conversation just so people could waste your time. And look, it's honestly just a test to see who's desperate enough to keep showing up. And on paper, I understand it, but how are you expected to actually find candidates if you're making them literally run a gauntlet each and every time? It doesn't really make sense. And then we have the beautiful salary guessing game where after all that, they hit you with, oh, so what do you expect to get paid from this? But notice they almost never tell you their range first. So now you're stuck playing a guessing game where whatever you're going to say is too high. You're suddenly getting out of their budget. And if you say too low, congrats, you just literally shot yourself in the foot because they're going to destroy you financially. And look, some states actually require salary ranges in the posting now, which helps. But again, it only gets so far because it's basically meaningless. It'll be like 45,000 to 95,000 for the exact same job title, but that's not a range. That's a company admitting that they have pretty much no idea of how much they actually value the position. Or worse, they maybe do know how much they value the position, but they're not willing to actually pay you that amount, and they just put it on paper. So then after all of that sort of stuff, you also have a personality assessment. So it'll be like 60 multiple choice questions, trying to figure out if you're a team player for a job to literally be in a warehouse stocking shelves or whatever. And it's not really measuring your personality, it's just measuring how good you are at performing, right? Can you keep a smile on your face when you're getting taken advantage of? Which is basically the whole point of the interview, or the 14 interviews. They always ask you, oh, what's your biggest weakness? And you're literally not really answering it. You're just performing for them. It's all just a act, in a sense. So I really want you to think about this for a second. You're faking genuine excitement for 4 different interviews just so someone can pay you $16 an hour or $19 an hour. And then, so congratulations, you made it this far. You're about to get the job. And then, after every single one of those steps, the most common outcome is just nothing. You don't even get a rejection email. You're just, sorry, we went with another candidate if you reach out to them. Brilliant, right? So you did all of that, and you don't even get closure. You're just wondering if, oh, maybe I messed up. Or they just forgot that you exist. So it's literally the equivalent of getting left on red, but for the job market, except your livelihood is on the line for it. And somehow we're the ones that are entitled for being frustrated according to that. So here's the part I actually want you to take from this, because I'm not trying to get all doomer about this and everything. None of this is a you problem. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. You've seen it. You're actively applying to all of these places. This is literally just a system that got bloated and automated from all sorts of technologies that's pretty much screwing stuff up, and companies couldn't really care less because it only brings them more money because they're not wasting time. So they outsourced judgment to software because it's cheaper than paying someone to read a resume, essentially. Consensus of this video, you're not bad at job hunting. The process itself is literally just built to wear you down, and that's exactly why more people are starting to realize they don't have to play by these rules. You can build an income on the side and skip all of this gauntlet, this free-for-all of trying to get a job. And you get out of that little energy of, oh, pick me for this. So I want to hear about your guys' experiences with all of this sort of stuff. If this has happened to you, and if so, tell me about it. I actually want to hear about it. Like, what's the most ridiculous thing that a job has ever made you do for an interview? Because I actually just want to see like the worst type of things that they've asked. And look, if you're done playing this game on someone else's terms, I actually just built a place kind of to just help figure out all of this sort of stuff, because it can get really messy searching for a job and all these sort of things. So I built a free Discord pretty much for young entrepreneurs or even older people who just want to build their own income instead of going through 10 rounds of interview just to get told no by a robot. And we actually have people in the Discord that are actively working towards their dreams and are actually making money within their side hustles and other sorts of ways, like little businesses that they create. And the whole idea of it is literally just the community. There's no pitch, there's no payment plan, any of this bull nonsense. It's literally just to help people see that the 9 to 5 isn't mandatory per se. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but I'm just giving the idea that you can work your 9 to 5, but if they're going to treat you like how they're treating majority of the candidates applying, you might as well have a side income that you're building. That way you take the stress off your shoulders of, am I going to be able to eat next week? Am I going to be able to pay my rent this week? Etc., etc. So, whoa, I just dropped my phone. That was insane. So that's pretty much the gist of this video. I wanted it to be as transparent and clear as possible, and really just trying to explain to you why this all feels like some sort of ritual that we're participating in within the job market. And I hope this, ultimately, if you got anything from this video, it's more clarity to do what you need to do for yourself, because the number one thing that these people don't care about usually is you. So I want you to take that into consideration, and sometimes you just have to make it happen yourself, and all you need is a little bit of guidance to accomplish your goals. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a like. If not, dislike, comment, do whatever you please. And with that being said, my friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and take care.